Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Off the Rack, the comic book show where we take comics in the past week, recap them, review them, tell you what we thought about them, and then recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
Oh boy, we got so much show for you today, and it's a good show. It's a fine, it's an okay, it's a passable show. It's a fair to mid-grade episode.
We're definitely a little late.
No, we're not late. We're totally fine.
Oh,
we were
hold
actually
on.
ahead of the game. I launched us 30 seconds before the promised start time after I increased the start time by 10 minutes. So,
Sorry.
with that in mind, no, I did that preemptively.
No, but
that was
it's totally-
before you were not ready. I did that.
Oh, excuse me.
You're always ready. I'm the one who's dragging ass. But I want to mention this show is, of course, sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can sponsor today's show by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment. We'll read it here on the show. And if you're watching the show after the fact, make sure to leave a comment sharing your opinion, your thoughts. We have a segment of the show where we declare the book of the week, our favorite or standout book of this week, the week that we are reviewing books. And so if you have a pick of your own, let us know your book of the week in the comments. Or if you are listening to the show in audio formats on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review and let us know why you think this is the best damn comic book channel or podcast out there on the airwaves, because it does help. I don't know how, but it would. So please do that as well. And of course, yes, we're an award-winning pod. Oh my God, we're an award-winning podcast. We won an award. So we can say that now. Welcome to the award-winning episode, or the award-winning podcast of Off the Rack.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, we should also mention that we talk about the news and stuff, and that's where we're actually going to get into the title of today's episode. Spider-Man's fighting a Predator. I'm sorry to say, that issue hasn't come out yet, but it was teased at the end of the much lesser Predator versus Black Panther series, which did end. I did read it, and the less said about it, the better. Let's just say I did read it, and
It was red.
it was read. And, any and all of my criticisms of this book have not been assuaged as a result of it ending. So, you can take that for what it is.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
hopefully, it's interesting. Predator versus Wolverine was a pretty big release. A lot of fanfare, some top tier talent working on that book. Obviously, Ben Percy wrote it, but multiple artists, and all but one were fantastic.
Okay.
Spider-Man, suspiciously, one artist.
Oh,
They found one. They found one who could do the whole book. Who could imagine that? It's a miracle. Congratulations, Marvel. I'm glad you found that out with your flagship character. And on one hand, I am actually glad they did that, because at least they know which side their bread is buttered on.
mhm,
At least they
mhm.
weren't like, it's a Predator thing. Just put whatever. Just get Greg Land. We put him on Peter David's entire run of Symbiote Spider-Man, dooming Sal to only read one volume of the series because he just couldn't stomach the damn thing. Despite how cool that is. It's a good series. Almost 50% of the book is good. But but as far as news is concerned, Predator versus Spider-Man was announced. I saw a preview for it. I may have seen a preview of the preview via cell phone footage from someone's preview copy earlier than announced, but it didn't take long for the internet to catch it.
Your maybe sounds like you definitely did.
I can't confirm or deny that maybe, but I can say that I have been excited about it for some time. I may have been excited about the idea of a Predator versus Spider-Man since they announced that Marvel has the license for Predator. So I'm excited, and it looks fun. I'm just hopeful that it continues to be cool. And obviously Ben Percy is their Predator Marvel guy. He's not just the Predator writer, he's the Predator writer for all Predator crossovers with Marvel. I'm sure he'll do a good job. I like Ben Percy quite a bit. His Black Panther notwithstanding, which was a fluke. I think the pitch isn't bad, but yeesh. But yeah. And I want to thank everybody out there who picked up a copy of Terminator #2.
Yay!
Thank you for picking that book up.
You still haven't picked up a copy of that.
No, I have not, nor has one been sent to me. But I actually prefer the experience of going to the store and buying a book with my name on it. I just haven't had a chance to go to the shop.
Maybe
Just
you'll
how
go
it is.
tomorrow or something.
Maybe.
Mayhaps.
Yeah. That's all. Is there other news? Not really. I will say there's an interesting phenomenon, since you don't have work tomorrow, that I think we could talk about.
So you can make this episode longer?
I'm not going to actively make it longer. I will try to keep it short.
It will go long. It's okay.
But
okay.
I should say that there was an interesting discussion that I had with Ethan the other day, and I wanted to bring you in on the discussion because you were busy playing video games, and I didn't want to pull focus. But I should read the backup. That is cool. That's yeah. I will check out the backup to be sure. By the way, like
last night I was playing video games.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was.
No, it was 2 nights ago that I was talking to Ethan about this.
Oh,
but
okay.
When it comes to comic book news,
okay,
comic book journalism,
yes,
how does one get it mainstream enough to be funded, and more importantly, to be read or consumed?
Comic book journalism?
Yeah.
I think you have to grow your audience base first before you can make that happen.
Well, I mean, if you are a comic journalism source, how do you grow your audience? Unless you're suggesting that, like...
No, I meant the readers of comic books.
But are you suggesting, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth here, but I'm giving you an opportunity to alter your thought here.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Are you suggesting that the comic book industry is too small to have its own journalism?
I am not suggesting that, but I am suggesting...
Because I am kind of suggesting that.
I am suggesting that the growth that you're talking about, especially because thinking of Ethan, knowing that he's involved like in this conversation that you had, that, he's probably thinking about other outlets or other like conversation or other like topics like video games, sports, whatever, who have a much larger audience.
Absolutely.
Base audience to work from. It just feels like, maybe that's where you have to start.
Right. Is with a bigger audience.
Yeah. So that, someone would be willing to fund it and think that it was viable.
Well, because it isn't. And I think that, like, there's an old adage. How do you make a small fortune from the comic book industry?
There's an adage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's my question. How do you make a small fortune from the comic book industry? You start with a larger fortune.
Okay. That's mean.
It ain't wrong.
I mean, I guess what it is this is one of those instances where it's like, you're not in it to make money.
No.
You're in it because you like it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's art.
Absolutely.
I guess, like that's where you have to think about it. And maybe there will be avenues that can lead to fortune building.
And look, I'm not suggesting, and one doesn't have to do with the other, but I wouldn't like begrudge any, angel investors from avoiding the just arm of comics because, there just ain't no money in it.
I think that it's important to have it. Yeah. I just don't know if the type of growth Ethan's referring to is something that can happen.
Oh, no. He definitely was on the side of, I mean, that's a tall order and a hard question to answer, and I don't see a solution. And every time I see like the only news I've seen in comics journalism change in the last 10 years is that at least one or two of the biggest closed, and the other biggest switched focus from comics to anything else. Like literally anything else. Like the old Pro ZD actor joins film, like that's CBR. That's just completely turned into like, I mean, sometimes you'll see like Game of Thrones actor joins film, but it really is at this point like actor joins film, click to find out who and what. And it's like, that's like,
you won't believe.
That's all it needs to say. But, but the thing is, the audience is discerning enough, I think, to say, I'm not going to click that. Like at this point, the clickbait has run its course. It's burned out the audience. Like, I don't know. As far as but I was never the target audience. I never click. So I understand that, like, I'm not who they're trying to target. But I think at this point, everybody is kind of like, I'm not clicking that.
Right.
Like, I'd rather just not know. Certainly Americans are comfortable not knowing.
Right.
But, I just feel like comic journalism has like there's something there. There's a germ of a possibility, and it could just be my overwhelming, blinding optimism, just this desire to see comics journalism, or rather, like just comics and awareness of comics and its proliferation in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity, to make it better. Not just comics, but comics journalism specifically, talking about comics, raising awareness about comics, holding comics publishers accountable for decisions made, because the news is supposed to do that to businesses and government.
Right.
The comic book industry is part of it. But like the New York Times isn't going to write an article about the comic book industry unless it implodes. And even then, it won't be page 1. It'll be page 12.
Sure. But I mean, I do think that like the journalism element and the arm needs to be there, regardless of if it's just covering news or reviewing, because I think it elevates the industry. It hopefully does. And some of it does, some of it doesn't.
No, you're totally right.
I think some of it absolutely does elevate the industry, and it generates hopeful conversation, because that's really what it should be there for. Right. Or to like, because sometimes, if Marvel, DC, Image, IDW, all of them, like if they didn't put out like press releases, like how many times have you gone into a shop and you're like, wait, what?
Wait, did that come out?
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is like, and I think you're touching upon something where it's like the big two particularly, but the comic industry has become very comfortable with the lack of accountability and the lack of good or successful comics journalism. I'm not saying there isn't successful comics journalism, but how do you measure success based on that? Like what kind of circulation are we talking here?
Exactly.
And it again, like news, it only gives rise to inferior forms or sensationalist forms of news occupying that role, because the audience is looking for any way of being informed and entertained at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's just interesting. It's just an interesting topic.
Yeah.
It's not one we're going to crack tonight.
No. But it's nice to get that conversation out there and have people maybe think about it, and like maybe think about the impact that comic journalism has had on them, like the individual.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I read Wonder Woman 15. This is, of course, by Tom King. This time with art by Daniel Sampere, as with every time. Although there is a backup to the story, which
I have fallen so far off this book.
Oh yeah, I know. So I think Carrie Randolph did did the art for this particular the backup. But this is this is a tough book.
Yeah.
I understand why people are reticent to jump on board based on like any number of factors. Wonder Woman is a tough character to get right or to make popular. And then I don't mean to suggest that Wonder Woman isn't popular. Obviously she's one of the most popular superheroes of all time, but like I don't but that's not necessarily the same thing as getting people to buy the book. And I think the book is selling well enough. But it's also and having a top tier artist like Daniel Sampere on it doesn't hurt.
Not at all.
But it's also kind of like a weird divisive book, because it started out as being kind of like, there was this inciting incident, there was this mysterious Amazonian. We've kind of fallen off of that story. Especially as we focus on, the fact that Steve Trevor is now dead. He's in the afterlife. That was the backup story. We tabled the Trinity story.
Did he go to Valhalla?
He went all over the place. The thing is, he's all over the place. He's in all kinds of weird areas of the afterlife, visiting different places and trying to look for peace, and he can't find it because Wonder Woman's not there.
Right.
So maybe that's like going to be a subplot of like the resurrection of Steve Trevor. I don't know, but it was cute. It was that backup was fantastic. The main story is just like, before Steve died, he told Wonder Woman how the secret deep state of America, run by the King of the United States or whatever, is funded and how to defund it. And so all the Wonder Women get together and they destroy the finances of them. And so that was fun.
Right.
And you could feel King's like kind of like frustrations in this, and Jenny Sparks, where like superhero vigilante justice attacks the US government.
Right.
And I was like, that's kind of neat. Like, this is a neat issue. And it was fine. I actually had more fun reading this than previous issues. But I understand why it's divisive and why people have kind of fallen off.
So I know for part of the reason I fell off was I think I missed like 1 week, right?
Yep.
And then it got sucked into Absolute Power. And I was like, well, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? And now I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So that was very much on me.
Yeah.
But also like, damn, like sometimes an event will do that.
Right.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it just opens the door to get falling behind sometimes.
Yes, which is ironic because the point of it is to get more people to read it, which I'm sure it didn't do.
I feel like it did not.
No, but it's fine.
Okay.
The book is consistent.
Okay. Okay.
But otherwise, I get why people aren't reading it.
Alrighty.
What about you?
Great question. Let's talk about the question.
Oh yeah, I did not have a chance or time to read the question.
I can't believe I got that segue in there. The question all along the Watchtower #1 by Alex Seguera with art by Cyan Tormi. Yeah, like what do I know about the question? Very little.
Yeah. Particularly this one.
Well, I know it's Renee Montoya, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, got that, know that. Have a little bit of background there. The question, I tend to like when I think of the question, even though the question has had many a book.
Yes.
Right? Many a book. Many at least one series. But like lots of books within there.
Yeah.
I think of the question more in terms of like showing up randomly in other people's books or cartoons.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Right? And I'm like, that's not fair to those who are fans of Question.
No. Rarely does Question get a book, but Question has had series, and they were all pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, this book was fun. Like this book was honestly fun, and part of my getting into this as I was reading along with it was one. This is it's a mystery, and I'm like, okay,
it better be.
Okay. Also, there's like a team involved, and like I don't know if it's actually going to be how the rest of this series goes, but this issue pitches it like they're going to work with Question in terms of like figuring out the mystery within the Watchtower. Like something's going on with the Watchtower, and the Watchtower has like someone's trying to like break into it or something's going on, and they got to figure out like what's going on.
That's
there,
fun.
Right. So she has this like team.
Yes.
Which strikes me as X Factor.
Oh no.
I didn't love X Factor, but that concept, but this is like, it's a smaller team.
Yeah.
So you have less few people to worry about. It's Question, it's Ted Cord.
Yep.
It's Blue Beetle.
Oh, so both Beetles.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's Batwoman.
Oh.
Drama.
Interesting. Okay.
Because they used to date.
Yes. Renee and they didn't just date.
Well,
in some continuities they were married.
Well, all right, but like in this.
Oh no, yeah. They were together.
Yes, they were together. So
you can't not do a Renee Montoya book and not put Batwoman.
But she's like on the team and doesn't know about that. She doesn't know she even has a team until she gets up there. Like essentially, Batwoman comes to her and is like, she needs to get out of there from whatever's been going on with her in terms of detective / Batman. Where I guess she got fired.
Yeah.
So they could hire Savage.
Oh, okay.
Vandal Savage.
Yes, Vandal Savage.
Yeah.
He's commissioner of
police
like, now.
She got like her like reputation smeared essentially, and so she's gotta go and get out of there. And so Batman's like, yeah. So she has like this really cool interaction with like Superman, and it's really fun. And she's gonna go up there, and she's gonna be the sheriff of the Watchtower.
That's right. Yeah, that was established in the in the DC All In.
But this
initiative.
is talking about that. Like this is what she's doing, and she's got a crazy shotgun that will like shoot metahumans into like the Phantom Zone like holding area. I'm like, interesting idea.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, because she's just a person. So like, how can she go up against these metahumans? Well, that's what she's gotten. Ted Cord is going to be there to help her out and to liaise between herself and the rest of the like main power hitters on the league. Like, you can't just come talk to us.
Well, no, she's not alpha tier.
Sorry, you can't just come talk to us.
She's probably gamma.
You can talk to Ted, and then Ted will relay that message to you, and we'll figure it out.
Well, that's interesting because there's no way Ted might be gamma too.
Well, she has her card, but we don't actually see it.
We don't get to see the card.
Blue Beetle is there to be tech based, and and there's Batwoman for reasons. That are drama.
Keep the drama in there.
Yeah. But obviously this ends with like a massive like cliffhanger.
Oh, great.
Like, here's the thing, and it looks like maybe it's happening all over again. Maybe they're here to continue to ruin her reputation. Who, how, when, where, why? I don't know. These are all the questions. The question all on the Watchtower will hopefully be answering as they go forward. But I was like, the writing was pretty snappy.
It better be.
It was
for a question book. It should be.
Well, it was snappy, but like good pace. Give us a little bit of the past, like just to fill you in. As someone who didn't know much about where she was currently, to be able to jump in and feel pretty comfortable, I'm like, neat. It also happens to add to the mystery because like I don't know what to be looking for.
Right.
I'm like, what am I looking for here? Oh, I don't know. Whoa.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed this. I'm like, this is gonna be one of those like one, and I don't read it anymore. I think I'm definitely grabbing at least the next couple of issues as long as I recall that they are coming out. But if you're the type of person who likes mysteries and maybe wasn't sure if you could jump into a question book, I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Like I said, maybe I missed some of the more like subtle things that a question fan or someone who had been reading or knew like their history from, you know, DC or from Detective and Batman and all that, maybe. But if you have never done any of that reading and you just want to jump into this book, go for it. I mean, teams, yay.
Yeah.
But like kind of fun team, interesting dynamic. Obviously, Blue Beetle and Ted Kord have like their own history.
Yeah.
So I don't know, kind of neat.
Yeah.
Nice. And she interacts with all the Trinity in this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Cool. Well, I read Batman Superman World's Finest number 33 from Mark Waid and Adrienne Gutierrez. This is the finale of his Eclipso arc where the Justice Society has to show up and help save the day. They do. The art's really solid. It's in keeping. You know, you're expecting Dan Mora. Dan Mora has left World's Finest and is now on Superman, which is awesome looking, by the way. Yeah. Definitely, if you are sleeping on the Superman series and you love Dan Mora, go read the Superman series. But Batman Superman World's Finest is still a great looking book, and that continuity is still there. And it's fun to see these heroes team up and battle Eclipso and deal with all of Mark Waid's recollection of continuity. It's a great cover, yeah, and it's fun to see like all these characters interacting, and that's kind of like the reason to buy this book. Is to get this kind of like classic flashback, old school Justice League series or World's Finest book that, like, you know, Mark Waid doesn't necessarily remember, but like this is the way he shows that he remembers. It's a good book. It's a lot of fun. And it culminates in the defeat of Eclipso and the reaffirmation of these heroes and their relevance. So yay.
Absolutely. All right.
How about Moon Knight?
Yeah, let's talk about Moon Knight. Yeah, of course I read Moon Knight. I read Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu #2, written by Jed McKay with art by Alessandro Cappuccio. I don't know how much longer Cappuccio's on this book.
I know, because where's he going?
Oh, was it Wolverine?
Yeah, Ultimate Wolverine.
Yeah. Dang.
I know. But you saw that Ultimate Wolverine cover.
No.
It's great.
That doesn't make it not sad. Like I'm thrilled for him. I'm thrilled for, like, hey, cutting your teeth here, moving on, doing some good stuff. I'm sure it's gonna look amazing.
It's gonna look
But that doesn't mean I'm not sad to be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because like this issue in particular looked great. I really felt like it was Cappuccio just doing some of his best work that he's done on Moon Knight. There's just so many fantastic moments in this book.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see this cover before we talk more about it.
Right. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I get the vibe here.
Yeah.
I think we'll see. I just feel like, yeah, it's great. I just personally feel like he's like made for Moon Knight.
Yes.
The shadows, the this, the that, all of it.
But like a cool kind of like spy Wolverine book.
Sure.
It's going to be great.
I think it will.
Yeah. But it's sad to lose him.
Very sad to lose him. Can I have this back, please?
Yeah.
Oh, you've done it. Thank you. Well done. I was trying to. There we go. I got this.
Okay.
So yeah. So this is continuing the like, hey, let's have a brand new arc for Moon Knight.
Yeah.
That like builds off of where Moon Knight has been in his Moon Knight and then other Moon Knight book and now this Moon Knight book.
How many freaking Moon Knight books has Jed McKay launched?
They're all like in the same story.
I know.
That's what's so fascinating about this.
Could that be like comic book Big Two algebra?
Maybe.
Where it's like Jed McKay's like, look, I'm Mr. Marvel. Like, they're not gonna fire me. I can do whatever I want.
Right.
But in order for me to keep doing Moon Knight,
yeah,
I have to keep like gaming the system by like ending a series and then relaunching a brand new series.
I suppose.
Like, is it going to be constantly new Moon Knight underscores until he's like, all right, I think I'm done.
I hope
and
not.
Relaunch with another.
I mean, like the first Moon Knight book lasted for quite a while.
It did,
like,
but then it ended.
Yeah,
and then there was another one.
I get it. I get you. So anyway, so this is Moon Knight who's like, hey, I'm back from the dead.
Yeah, that's right. After that whole blood hunt thing.
I'm back. Hey, baby. How's everybody doing? But he still has the team.
Yeah.
So it's Reese and Soldier and April and Tigra and Hunter's Moon, right? So we got like kind of
that's
two
the
Moon Knights.
Yeah, that's the McKay bunch.
Yeah, that's the McKay like Moon Knight family.
Yeah.
But this time around we're like getting Moon Knight back to it. It's like, listen, they just did the whole blood hunt thing. He died. The Midnight Mission had been trying to keep things going in like the wake of his death. And now we're continuing with the mission.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing some big world ending thing in that the world ending thing in some capacity is that their sphere of like influence in the city is under siege by this new drug.
Oh no.
We saw in the last issue, it's called glitter. He's pretty sure it's just literally like fairy dust, because don't forget, magic is real in the Marvel universe. And so when I say these things, you have to accept the fact that this is what we're talking about.
That's not like a euphemism,
and it's actually very bad, right? Yeah. Like it's highly, highly addictive. And it's a real problem.
Yeah.
Like for the streets, for the people, for all of it. And Moon Knight's not having any of it, right?
Sure.
Achilles Fairchild, who seems to have set up shop with this drug, is the one that we met the last issue where Moon Knight showed up and was like, made himself known. But it's seeming like Fairchild's coming after him, which is putting Moon Knight in a different position, right? Typically, Moon Knight will like rally and go forth.
Yeah.
But this is like, he kind of has to go in the defense, and they're trying to figure out moves, right? Moon Knight ends up going to Tony Stark, which is interesting because he's like, I want to know what this is, what this drug is. And after a bit of conversation, Tony's like, obviously, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a biochemist. You could have gone to Doctor Strange, obviously, for the magic part, but you didn't. And you didn't like go to the Fantastic Four. You came to me. And I guess it has something to do with the fact that I'm a scientist and I'm an addict.
Ah.
And Moon Knight's like, yep.
Yeah. I
like,
needed your insight.
Because like Mark's like, I'm also an addict.
Yeah. I'm addicted to people or to being
violence.
People.
Yeah. Like, they would say violence.
Yes.
Like, and Tony's like, all right, I see what you're talking about. I see this is a problem, but I really can't give you much more. What you actually need is Hank Pym, but he's dead.
Is he really?
According to this
book.
Yeah,
that's sure. Okay. He's still dead. Okay.
So he's dead. And Moon Knight's like, okay. Let me get like this really.
Well, then don't tell me I need him because,
Well, obviously we're hinting at something's going to happen or here's some information, right? Like we need to set this up. But it's also just a fun conversation because it's like, it's just McKay like seeding in the fact that it's like, you have a lot of like top tier scientists, often we talk to like, Mr. Fantastic,
right?
Sometimes Peter's called in,
Hulk.
There's so many,
Amadeus Cho.
But like you're dealing with something with drugs. And so you go to the addict. I think that's just
like
clever.
Mean? Oh, okay.
No, I think it's clever. I think that's really clever. I think that's like,
right. Like he's going to help me.
Well, it's not just that, but Moon Knight's also like, I don't pull punches. I'm just going to get the guy who will understand this, even if like it's kind of an insult.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
This is who I am. Like, what were you expecting? I don't have tact. There is no tact when it comes to Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So, there's a big dope fight. We get to see 8-Ball do his 8-Ball thing, which involves a pool cue and like a really dope page.
Yeah, that is a dope page.
It's great. It's great looking. Capuccio just doing, this is what's so sad. Wolverine doesn't have a cape.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what I'm losing here, right? Like, he doesn't have a cape. Capuccio does a good cape. Just chef's kiss cape action.
Yeah.
Also, depending on if it's in a city or not, I don't know. That'll make a difference for me, for certain.
Naturally.
But hey, listen, Cubist shows up. I don't know enough about them from the past for Moon Knight, but this is another McKay being like,
hey, I remember this character.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the arc gets super cool and dope and fun. And it's a big fight. And Moon Knight's like, okay. So Cubist has a message for me. And the message is like, back off, essentially.
Okay.
Right? Like,
stay out of this.
Yeah. Like, we all knew that, like, you weren't going to get the better of me, but I probably wasn't going to win this fight either. So literally, I'm just here to let you know that, like, everything after this moment is bought and paid for by you.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's a great line.
Good line.
That's a great line. They don't want Moon Knight dead just yet. They want Moon Knight to go through it. So,
especially because he just died.
Right. So the team has a meeting, and essentially they're like, yeah, I got to, like, they're pulling people from my rogues gallery. I like this because Reese goes like rogues gallery, and Moon Knight's like, it's an interesting term.
It is.
Look it up.
Right.
No. Look it up. Don't look it up.
Don't look it up.
Don't look it up. Before he dismisses everyone, to make sure that he has a private conversation with Tigra.
Yeah.
Where, like he's like, listen, I need to tell you something, right? Like, I need to tell you this ever since I came back, right? Like, you saved me, and I'm not just talking about like bringing me back. I'm talking about before that, like your love, all of this, right? Which kept me from telling you something that I probably should have told you, because like the fact is, like, Hank Pym, who you often like is like the love, like, you loved him, and he's like, your kid's father, or at least you called him that.
Oh.
Right? He's not dead.
Oh no.
So I'm like, okay,
cool.
Drama, but also the police are coming for the midnight mission, and I'm just like, well, don't go in there.
Yeah, you're not gonna want.
It's not gonna
what's
be
in
good.
there.
It's just McKay giving us like a listen. remember how we started last time, where it was like, here's like just a standard street level story for Moon Knight, but it gets a little complicated, as it always does, because you're dealing with Moon Knight and his many personalities and his history, and that's kind of where we're at. We're going to deal with something a little messy. We're going to do something very street level, very close to Mark and his, love of protecting his part of the city. After we did the big thing where he got to die and do the blood hunt and like all that, like we did all that fun stuff. Let's get back to this.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that with McKay and his love of this character, where he understands that he's like, Moon Knight can be, center stage. Sometimes he can do the big supernatural stuff, but he can also just do these like,
character focused stories.
Yeah.
That are, maybe under the radar. For most regular, mainstream readers. That's cool.
Yeah. Great book. And it's amazing to me, regardless of the number of changes in title, that this book can be so consistent.
Yes.
That like you can start from Jed McKay's Moon Knight #1, be here, and everything feels as it should.
Right, exactly.
I think it's just a testament to his love of the character, but also his ability as a writer.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, I read Wolverine 3 from Saladin Ahmed and Martin Kokolo. This is the continuation of the, series Wolverine ongoing.
I don't think things are going to go well for that guy.
No, probably not. Department H has been dealing with, they're hunting Wolverine, they're hunting Wendigo, but Wendigo's a 16-year-old boy, so Wolverine feels like he has to protect him, and so as a result, Wolverine does. Also, there's a tease that like this anti-adamantium gold thing that attacked Cyber is now is making a team of adamantium-based bad guys, which may include Lady Deathstrike, and I'm sure will also include a bunch of other adamantium-based Wolverine characters.
Sure.
So we're gonna get a team together to fight Wolverine. Meanwhile, Wolverine is just completely unaware. He's still he's trying to get justice for the pack of wolves that Cyber killed in issue 1. I
just want to get justice for these wolves.
Well, he's just like, oh, by the way, you're gonna find some wolves, and there's gonna be some DNA evidence that'll tell you that like Cyber was the one who did it, not me, or this Wendigo. So whatever. And you're like, all right. So like the book is fun. Like it's a consistent Wolverine series. I'm enjoying it. I was not sure if I would, but I am.
Yeah.
It's a fun, kind of cool, okay book. That's it's interesting because they were like, we're launching a new Wolverine book with Greg Capullo, and we're doing another Wolverine book with Saladin Ahmed. And I was like, oh, Hickman and Capullo and Saladin Ahmed and anybody else. And I was like, oh, well, I think I know what book I'm gonna like better, and I think I like this Wolverine book better than Revenge.
Wow.
Revenge book looks great, but it also is like, I don't know, Hickman is just kind of like, hey, Greg, you can write it too. I don't really care. Just put my name on it so it sells. I don't really care. Like you could tell he doesn't give a crap about that book. Like Wolverine Revenge is just like when you look up phoned in on Urban Dictionary, you will find a picture of Wolverine Revenge by Jonathan Hickman.
Wow.
But
wow.
Straight up the most phoned in book I've ever seen.
Ouch.
Well, like when you think of Hickman, and you read that, you're gonna be like, oh, that did not help. Like that did not help your stock.
No, I understand. I completely understand.
It's like on one hand, if Wolverine Revenge had come out like after Secret Wars, it was the only Hickman book, you'd be like, oh, okay, he needed like a break. But this is coming out against like Aliens Avengers, which is just like that is a Hickman book.
Yep.
You could just Hickman is all over that book, and then you read Revenge, and you're like, no, you are no.
Yep.
You are definitely not.
I
right
totally understand. Totally.
But
understand.
Otherwise, but I dig this Wolverine series. I'm like, oh, this is fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
What about you?
Let's talk really quickly about Power Fantasy #4.
Sure.
Written by Kieran Gillen with art by, I want to say, Chris Wingard.
Yes.
I think it's Chris. That was Wingard.
Oh, your question was the first.
My question was the first name. The last name I got.
Yeah.
Casper. Dang it. It's Chris Wildgoose.
That's right.
Two different CW names.
Mm-hmm.
This is written by Kieran Gillen with art by Casper Wingard. I freaking love this series. It's beautiful and amazing. The art in it is expressive and perfect for the tone of this series, and it's beautiful and it's inspiring. I feel it to be completely inspiring. A lot of these issues have kind of like occasional highlight characters, and this one
they
does
focus on a character.
Yeah, they focus a little more on a character while progressing the story. This issue does that. But obviously, like, Power Fantasy has been a book that has focused on superpowered individuals, but what that would be like in reality.
Right.
And not like in, I guess we've kind of seen this in the past. Like we've seen this done different ways. This is a different take on it for certain. And I am just finding the more I get into this book and the more I meet these characters, the more I need to know the rest of the story. Like
nice.
it is just every issue draws me in further. It has not been like diminishing returns. You know what I mean? Like you've seen that, you've felt that before.
Absolutely.
I'm sure, where you're just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like it was really great at the start. Every single issue has just made me need to know where this is going, meet these characters, because even though they're about people who are super powered, we have two characters who seemingly aren't human at all. It is entirely about humans.
Yeah.
And our behaviors,
and
human nature, human interaction, what people would legitimately be like. Like we're not all Peter Parkers.
Right.
You know, we're not all Bruce Waynes.
Yes.
We're not all able to rise to the challenge and always think about what our actions are going to do. And this kind of looks at it like that. Like, what if you had a bunch of people who had like big powers or in small powers?
Yeah.
But the big powers who had big personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And what would that do to the world?
Yeah.
And how would you balance these things? And so we meet this, we met her in the last issue, I think, Masumi.
Mm-hmm.
She lives, I guess, in Japan.
Right.
Or at least she had been in Tokyo. Masumi Murashita. And she's an artist. And I'm not 100% what her power is, but it is insane looking.
Right. It's like intangibility or...
Well, no, but then we see this. Like, that is her power as well. Right? Like, that is her power. The ocean there, right? Like, her power is something, and it's very bad.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, other characters have had to step in to kind of tone this down. And that's what we see here, right? Like, she's an artist, and she's having an art gallery opening, and all these people are coming, and she wants certain superpowers to be there, you know, her friends. And one of them is, like, the guy we've been following.
Yes.
Who is trying to be, like, this guy reminds me sort of a little bit of like a character that Ethan would be really into, because of the fact that it's like, it's someone who looks at the world and is like, I have the powers, and the powers are to like get into people's brains and affect the way that they do things or what that they do. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's very dangerous, but he is supposedly ethically neutral or trying to push things for the good.
Right.
While also balancing scales and like looking at things from like a scientific or like ethical standpoint, in which it's like, okay, is it worth it to do this one horrific thing in order to save all these other people?
Yeah.
Right. And that's how he operates, which is scary.
Yeah.
But also you're like, but you understand, kind of like Gillen is giving you an opportunity to question your own moral codes. And like, in what instances is this okay versus that okay? This is a great book to have a conversation about, essentially. But anyway, you know, she wants people to come to her art gallery, and, you know, like Valentina is there, and she's obviously like this like angel, this like super powered, the Superman character that came from somewhere in order to help us.
Okay.
Right. And, you know, there's art critics there, and Masumi is there with her girlfriend. And there's one specific art critic that she really wants a really good review from. Right. But the question we're going to see face the characters in this book, or at least this specific one, is like, how can anyone be honest around you if they're afraid that if you get bad news that you might destroy everything?
Yeah.
Like, how can you be an artist if everyone's afraid to actually like let you know what they think of your work?
Yeah.
Like, what is that then?
Yeah.
Like, that's not fulfilling. And like, she wants to be an artist, right?
Yes. And all that implies.
Exactly. So like, there's almost like a fight between a couple of characters, because some have like kind of done like a Magneto and pulled out, and they're like in like a floating satellite style thing.
We're better than you. We're separating.
Yeah. Don't attack my people, but also like, I tend to be inflammatory, so you know. Yeah. Etene is the guy who I'm like, I would love to get Ethan's read on this character.
Totally.
And you know, he's trying his best to keep things copacetic, but also, you know, like, screw all of you. Anyway. She wants her like feedback from the artist. The artist, like, you know, they're like, oh, hey, the review came in.
Yeah.
And Masumi realizes, she's like, you wrote that review before you came here because you wrote what you thought would make me happy instead of actually reacting to my art. And so she like starts to melt down. Yeah. Right. And then like the artist like gives her a review, and like it's a little harsh, and it's like, but it's real. And she's like, okay, cool. And you see like this, like the monsterish things like go away.
Recede, yes.
Now, of course, we are dealing with Japan, so I think we're also like kind of tying into like kaiju lore,
Sure.
kaiju being, you know, so like it's like tied to Japan and their
Mhm.
own pop culture. And it's interesting because like her girlfriend later on is like, she has like Valium and stuff like that. And like she asks Etene to talk with her. There's like a secret code that they can use. He's like, don't talk it out loud. And she's like, I need you to just, I don't want to remember some of these things. And he was just like, okay, hopefully it lasts longer this time. She's like, how many times have we had this conversation? And like the idea is that like he's happy to do this, even though ethically it may not be the best idea, because of the fact that he deems Masumi's happiness to be kept more valuable than to not do this.
Right.
Because it's like, if she's not, then like there could be some sort of horrific, you know.
Oh, cataclysm.
Yeah. So we see that, but we also find out that he also like went into the art reviewer's mind and like dialed it a certain way.
Okay.
And I'm like, ooh, it's like creepy, but you get it. Like you get it. Like, I don't know, like this book is brilliant because it makes you think. And then of course at the end, Kieran Gillen has an essay that's great, but this time Casper Wingard also had a very short essay, and it's really nice. It's short. If you have this and you haven't had a chance to read that specific one, read that one for sure. If you're not going to get a chance to read both of them, it talks a little bit about where he was when he found this book and like how like the idea of these characters, and in particular Masumi, reignited his like love of art because he was in a pretty dark place.
Cool.
So it's like, it's really cool. And like, you can just feel how much this duo cares about this book. Yes. I love this book. I think it's really important. And I hope people are picking it up.
Yeah, I think so. I've heard some nice things about it, or
Good.
at least I've heard some people being like, I am also reading it, which as opposed to what we normally hear when it comes to like indie books, which is like, I should check this out, you know, which is also probably true.
It's a spectacular series.
Yeah. Well, speaking of series, I read Storm #2 from Marewa Ayodele. There we go.
You got it.
Lucas Wernick is doing the art. This is the second issue of Storm's.
The cover.
Yeah. Okay. So Wernick's art is fantastic. Storm has a cool new costume. The premise is that she's dying of radiation poisoning from the previous issue, and so what's she going to do? Storm encounters bigotry and obstacles because not just because she's a mutant, but moreover because she was an X-Man. There's a fantastic sequence where essentially she goes to like a specialist, like a super doctor, and at like a really crazy facility, and the doctor's like, "Oh, I'm not treating you."
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, well, this is my first time being, rejected for being a mutant." And he's like, we treat over like 80,000 mutants or whatever. Like, we treat mutants. I don't treat X-Men. Because like this facility, and then goes into like this whole thing about like this facility was made possible by generous donations from Doctor Strange, Danny Rand, Force Works, Iron Man, the Avengers, Night Nurse worked on this. And Krakoa sold their miracle cure to the world instead.
Ouch.
He's like, and I am a mutant. I took one step on that island, looked around and said, absolutely not, and came back here and created this whole thing.
That has been so much of this, the following books from Krakoa. It's just like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way apparently you can do things. It can't be like, that was fun.
Well, other people are, I'm sure all the mutants miss it. Except for this one. But yeah, so Storm gives them a jewel that belonged to her mother that like is worth a lot of money, that it immediately tips the scales and allows her treatment. And basically she's like, yeah, the doctor's like, yeah, you can go. Like I have a specialist that handles this. They used to be Sorcerer Supreme, but now they have to do all this crap and they have to deal with those dark magic and so forth. So you can meet with Dr. Voodoo.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's really fun. It was a really it was a really like well executed issue. Storm is a really sweet new costume that is immediately, it's all like white. It's kind of like a homage to a repaint of her like old Toy Biz first wave action figure, where it was just like white with like a yellow lightning bolt on the chest. But then she like has a coughing fit and bleeds all over it. Like, it's just like, it's a really good visual.
Yeah.
Striking looking book, but also like it's an interesting concept for Storm. And her struggle, and like the fact that Storm is a selfless person who's working tirelessly, but she will constantly be met with like obstacles because of her associations. They let her in because she had an Avengers ID card.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. It's a good book. It's really like well written and drawn. It's a good complement of each other, and it has a very like clear direction and and things it wants to say, and it doesn't get bogged down in all the things that people could say.
Yep.
Also, I mean, come on, they referenced Force Works. Like, she's like, Force Works? He's like, it was a different time. I'm like, that's very true. And good call.
Can I address a couple things in the chat first of all? Someone mentioned get those likes up. Hey, if you're over on YouTube.
That's true. Yeah, if you do like us, give us like. Yeah.
Second of all, I saw a couple people being like, Krakoa is gross.
Well, certainly I thought it was gross.
Well, here's the thing about that. I think people mistake someone supporting a time frame with being like totally down for the ideals of it.
Exactly.
Because
like, no, Krakoa was a awesome, cool, interesting
time period
of books, which is quicker to easier to refer to than saying the time when Hickman was writing.
Right. It afforded writers and artists an opportunity to put together teams we'd not seen before, and to give mutants an opportunity to not focus on the one and only issue they tend to have to focus on in their books. And so like for that, I think it should be celebrated. And I apologize if you can't see beyond that when I say that like Krakoa was a great time, and it's weird that all mutants and every book afterwards, because it seems like the writers are on board to go like, let's just ignore that.
Well, I'm sure that their new editor really is telling them to do that.
Right.
Since the new editor has
and that's really
what
I'm saying is like, it's really weird that a lot of the new X-Men books are just like, and I'm like, for a lot of mutants, you could think about it like this. For a lot of mutants who maybe were in really, really rough situations in this fictitious world, going to Krakoa might have been an opportunity for them to have peace, and what that could have afforded
for a hot
for them.
second. Yeah. Did you read Venom War? It's Jeff.
Of course I did. I have this really weird fascination with Jeff.
You do.
Whereas like I am not reading any of Venom War, but I was like, but of course I'm going to read It's Jeff Venom War. Why not?
It's also the only Kelly Thompson book at Marvel at this point.
Well, yay for me.
Which is like, I'm glad they like,
my week of comics was really weird. Let's be honest.
Oh,
right.
Sure.
Like I read Power Fantasy and It's Jeff, among other things. Like, huh?
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, like, It's Jeff is fun. And I mean, you get a chance to read another Guri Hero book.
Yeah. So It's Jeff, the Venom War issue, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Guri Hero. So of course it looks great.
Adorable.
It's fun. It's cute. It's Jeff. What more do you want? I'm guessing it's tied into Venom War. Did I have to know what was going on in Venom War to enjoy this book? No, this is very much like cutesy and fluffy and fun. And there are other characters in it. Obviously, Gwenpool is in this. Hawkeye is in this.
Nice.
And others who go back. Thank you. Fuse is in this, and America Chavez. That's who it was.
Interesting. She's also in the Ultimate Universe. Does that come up?
No. They're just dealing with Venom stuff.
Yeah.
And Jeff gets a Venom costume and then goes and eats a whole bunch of like food. And the two of them, like, they deal with the people who are having a problem by playing really loud music. It's the Baby Shark song.
Oh no.
I'm sure you could have figured that out.
Sure.
Jeff's costume doesn't come off though. And at the end, essentially, like, he and the costume are like, they have had enough to eat. They like fist bump. And then he like rolls it off of himself. And like Fuse is like, I had always heard that the Venom suit started as like a fashion choice for Spider-Man. But like, it's cute. Like it makes reference to that. It's just cute. It's fluffy and cute and
completely
sweet. Completely harmless. And I just like when Jeff shows up, like he doesn't insist upon himself. It's just, here's a little like moment with Jeff.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. Great opportunity to have Jeff show up.
Yeah. Let's have Jeff show up. He's going to be, obviously he's involved in Marvel Rivals. So a lot of people are going to get to know him through that.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's true. Interesting. Yeah.
It's fun. And Guru Hero's art. Like, I mean,
oh my God.
It's very sweet.
Exactly.
Very sweet.
I read The Moon is Following Us #3 from Jenny Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo. I forgot that, like, D-Dubs doesn't do like long runs. Like, for a minute, I was a little worried. Like when I was picking this up and reading it, I was like, oh man, this is going to be like one of those long, epic sprawling series. And I went, oh wait, no, Dubbers doesn't do that. It'll be like 6 issues.
Yeah.
So it allowed me to kind of like surrender and just go like, let's just get into it. And it's great. You're just dealing with like two parents who are entering their child's dream world and being aided by manifestations of her favorite childhood beloved toys. They're aiding her in her quest, or trying to return her from bondage. And what the big reveal, I don't want to give it away. There's a big reveal at the end that like who the antagonist is and what that's all about. And I was like, that's an interesting twist that I didn't see coming. Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo are, fantastic, geniuses in their field. Each of their respective opportunities to draw are welcome. And we're taking our time, even though we are not spending too much time in this world.
Right.
And I'm glad. I'm just, it's an easy book to read, and it's easy book to drop in on. There are a lot of characters that, I don't necessarily even remember all their names because, the book, it's not delayed in any significant way, but there's like a frog character, and like there's a teddy bear character.
Okay.
And, they like there's a lot of different characters, and I'm like, I don't I'm like, I'm never quite in the zone with this series, but I do recognize that it is a powerful and delightful read.
Yeah, I get that.
But I will eventually, I'm sure, when this, because it's not a Marvel book, that it'll get a hardcover and an oversized edition, I'm sure.
I hope so. With D-Dubs, he makes it easy.
It's Image, so they'll do it.
He makes it easy.
He really does. And Rossimo's art is not to be ignored. It's good stuff, but also distinct enough from Daniel Warren Johnson to be to stand on its own. So it's a good book. It's a really fun series that's definitely worth checking out. Definitely read this book if you aren't already. Did
you read Spider-Man Reign?
Yeah, of course I read Spider-Man
not.
Reign.
I forgot it came out.
It's the end.
Oh
it's
no,
over.
I missed it. I missed the end.
Kari Andrews' Spider-Man Reign 2, number 5, the finale of this book, and none too soon. I saw a lot of people like complaining about this book, and I'm like, how could you complain when you know what this is? I saw someone a while back give it an interesting description where they were like, well, the first one was kind of like a ripoff of Dark Knight Returns, and it seems that Kari Andrews is back to continue that trend by making a ripoff of Dark Knight Strikes Again, by making like the most batshit insane, weird, and most unasked for sequel
it kind of is.
It is, because it's completely
like having like in Dark Knight Strikes Again, having what's her name become
Carrie become
Catgirl.
Catgirl, yes.
Yeah, and like in this,
there's
like,
a Catgirl in this too.
Yeah,
and it is if you went further, Dark Knight Strikes Again is kind of Frank Miller being like, I want to go back to my roots and talk about like classic old school stories. This is Kari Andrews going like, I want to go back to my roots, talk about classic old school Spider-Man stories. And by that, of course, I mean the McFarlane era specifically.
Yes.
But this is ridiculous.
It's
a weird book. And it is, I was morbidly fascinated with it because it's such a weird kind of like love letter to that period, while also deliberately being this unasked for sequel to Spider-Man Reign. And but I'm not going to say it's good. This issue in particular was rushed and desperate, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
The art is, of course, impeccable. Like it's Kari just going for it. Like Andrews is really just singing in every page, and spectacular epic sequences of ridiculousness that are inspired. I mean, like the cover alone.
Does it all wrap up though? Because it felt like the last issue was rushed.
Oh yeah, it was.
Like in terms of story.
So the last issue was completely breakneck speed, just cramming as much as you could. Like you don't need Miles in this book, and we need to wrap up his story too, and we do. And there's a funny sequence because I was actually kind of like a little critical of it earlier, where I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like Spider-Man Reign came out during a period like where it wasn't glaringly apparent that Marvel was like deliberately like kind of like shunting Spider-Man in one direction and kind of like cornering him away from the Marvel universe. But this one felt like that in a big bad way, where like they don't make any references to the outside world,
right?
But then the outside world comes to Spider-Man Reign, and it's in the form of all these superheroes, and you're like, oh, okay, here they all are.
Okay.
And when the dawn comes, all the heroes arrive, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Peter makes the ultimate sacrifice and bonds with Venom and saves the day. It's ridiculous and weird, and there's no point in talking about the story. It's a mess. And like the Miles story is wrapped up in like 2 panels, just kind of in a very kind of oh yeah, I had to do that kind of way. Does Catgirl do anything? Black Cat's, the new Black Cat character. Does she do anything? Does
Yeah.
Norman Osborn do anything? No. Like, did it have anything to do with anything? Was there a point to all this? Absolutely not. But like, but I wasn't looking for one, and certainly if there was one, Spider-Man Reign 2 wasn't going to give you the answers.
Sure, very fair.
And it doesn't even give you the like satisfaction of concluding. You know, like it ends and then it's like, oh, but, and I'm like, don't even try. Don't threaten me with a third. No one wants it. Like nobody wanted this. You know, and it's silly and it's, you know, unserious. It's the most unserious book you'll pick up.
Okay. Did you read Batman Full Moon?
No.
Oh, I did.
I know you did. I wanted to. I was like, I'll let Tiffany read it.
Let's chat about Batman Full Moon #2, written by Rodney Barnes, art by Steven Subic. Yeah. So Batman in the last issue was bitten by a werewolf. What do you think's gonna happen?
He's gonna turn into a werewolf.
Yeah, but he's gonna try real hard not to.
Oh no. Okay.
First, he wakes up in the cave, and well, he's not in the cave. I apologize, because he's Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Alfred has gotten Langstrom and Constantine together in order to try to solve this problem.
Right. That sounds fun.
And also not reveal that he's Batman.
Oh, sure.
But John, I was like, why is John so angry? And I was like, oh my God, that's right. Bruce is dating Zatanna.
In this book alone. Because this book is like an Elseworlds book.
Yeah. And so we're gonna deal with that. And like Constantine's like, yeah, you're screwed. But like maybe we can do this, that, and the other thing. Like maybe we can do magic. And Langstrom's like, there's no cure for it from the science perspective. I can tell you that for certain. I've done it all.
Yeah.
Zatanna is gonna try to separate the soul of the wolf from Bruce.
Okay.
The werewolf.
That sounds about right.
It doesn't work. But Batman's got to go out anyway. He's got to go find the original werewolf. He's like, it's gonna be fine. And
is that how it works? You got to find the original werewolf.
No,
you got to find the head werewolf.
He's got to just do it. He needs to get this person because he keeps killing people. Is
Batman killing people?
No, the wolf, the other guy, the werewolf.
Oh yeah,
Batman hasn't turned yet.
Oh, I see. That's right. Yes,
he hasn't had a chance. But he's like, it's gonna happen. And Alfred's like, maybe you shouldn't go out. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, don't.
And he's like, don't worry, I've got it.
No, you don't.
I can.
But he is Batman. That sounds very.
He's like, I can keep myself under control.
Sure, you can.
Newsflash, you can't. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
This book is really interesting and bizarre. And like the other werewolf, who I can't remember what his name is, his supporting cast and crew remind me of more like a Spawn comic.
In what way?
And not in a bad way, because it's like there's a kid who's like clearly like, you know, like on the streets and maybe like street tough. I don't know. There's like a woman who's like a nun, but she's there to help the fallen, the homeless, the people who need help, right? And there's this guy. I don't know what he's doing there. I don't know why he's there, but he is there. And they're just people.
Well, is he the original werewolf?
No, the naked man is the man who's clearly not.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Oh no, the big
there's
guy
another guy. Oh, I see. Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah.
And they're in. I can't remember what this place is called. The guy says it like a million times, and now I suddenly can't remember what this is called.
Mousetown.
No, it's not Mousetown. Rat City. Jeez. Get it right.
But it's not.
It's not. Potter's Den. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
I was like, of course it's called Potter's Den.
Naturally.
Anyway, I'm not going to tell you exactly what goes on in this book, but what I am going to say is this book, Barnes is writing for Batman / Bruce. I was like struggling with it a little bit, right? Because at one point, like Zatanna almost gets like hurt, sort of, and like Bruce grabs her and says, "Baby, are you all right?" And I was like, that's weird.
But it's weird. But also, it was weird in the first issue, like dating Bruce, being I'm gonna try and make it work with Zatanna. Like the fact that Bruce Wayne, you just seeing Bruce Wayne in comics, going like, I think I'm gonna try and make it work. It's really weird.
It's really weird. And then I thought back on it after I'd read it, because this is the sign of a comic that I think is worthwhile to read or to like reread or to talk about, is that you think on it afterwards, right? I was thinking on it afterwards. I had this moment where I was just like, Barnes is writing Batman like a person.
Yes.
And too often we are so used to like this stoic like thing.
Cordoned off character.
Yeah.
He's an inhuman.
Yeah. Who's not. And originally he was supposed to be like I'm the human on this team of superpowered gods.
Exactly.
But he's quickly become not that. And Barnes is writing him like a person. And I'm like, I had a whole new appreciation for this issue because of that. Because I was like, the reason I find it to be weird is because I'm uncomfortable seeing Bruce as a person.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'm
rare that they do that.
Yeah.
Like in Batman universe. That one, he's also like a regular guy, which is really fun.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it's refreshing.
Yeah. So if you decide you want to check this out because of the fact that you're dealing with literal werewolves.
Yeah.
And Batman. Be prepared for Batman to be treated more like an actual human being.
Yeah, so he may seem out of character as a result.
But it's just different. It's just writing him as a person instead.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. I think it's only 3, or is it 4?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think you're right. I think it might be 3 or 4.
I mean, if it is, it would make sense if it was 3. Oh no. It is 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of Aruing in this.
Oh, I'll bet. There better be. I mean, certainly at this point.
Also, I should say Subik's art is fun. It's very different.
Yes.
It definitely reads Black Label-y. It reads Vertigo-y. It reads trying to make it feel more real.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I read Jenny
my,
Sparks.
My new is yeah.
Yeah. Jenny Sparks from Tom King and Jeffrey Spokes. This is almost over, I believe. I think there's 6 issues of Jenny Sparks. Nope, there's more than that. How is that possible? There's 7 issues of this. Jenny's still dealing with Dr. Manhattan, Captain Atom. He's, he wants to be God. There's 2 stories going on here. One is Jenny Sparks getting revenge on those who ruined the housing market. And also her dealing with the fact that Captain Atom killed the Justice League, trying to intercede on him and his quest to become God. Basically, the book is what if Captain Atom read Watchmen and went like, oh yeah, so I'm Dr. Manhattan? Oh, I'll just do that. But I'm also bad at it because I'm not Dr. Manhattan. Like, I'm kind of an asshole. And so that's really fun. And like, I've been kind of down on this series for a while. Like, I'm kind of like, what is this point of this? And I know I don't know what the point of this is, except for like, them to get Jenny a trade paperback by the time she shows up in a movie made by James Gunn. And, that's fine, I guess. But you're making an Authority book, so just re-release Authority. But the art's great. It's consistent and fun and solid, and it has the gravity that it needs. There's deliberately silly moments in here, like, Captain Atom takes Batman's cowl off of his dead corpse and then puts it on his own head and just wears it around for a little while. And it's like, that is a deeply disturbing sequence and could be, it is silly and dumb, but with this kind of art, it has the gravity of like, oh my God, this dude's unhinged, as opposed to being like, this is goofy and silly. Like, it has both, but but if you are interested in the story and you like where it's going, then yes, like then it works.
I love their covers for
the covers
series.
are they know
cover
what
game
doing.
is on point.
Yep. No, it's phenomenal. But this one, I kind of missed. I did not care for the previous issue. I did like this one more.
Okay.
But yeah, if the premise is just Captain Atom is like, I realize I can do anything. I want to be God now. But also he's looking for validation and like endorsement.
Okay.
And it's not happening. And essentially Jenny is just trying to like negotiate. She is like, yeah, okay. But she's trying to negotiate with him to just release the hostages in this bar that he entered in issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
And like, she doesn't get him.
Right.
And the heroes are still dead. Obviously, he can resurrect people and cure cancer and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he can do anything. He de facto, more or less, is or can be a god. But that's where we are. If you are interested in that concept and you're not on Reddit constantly complaining about Tom King infusing his own like world experience into it, then you'll probably enjoy it. Otherwise, yeah, you can skip it, but you were skipping it anyway. The fact is, none of you are reading this book. So
some people might be.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not, though.
All right, what else you got?
I read Chasm, Curse of Cain, #4 from Steve Fox and Andrea Briccardo.
Why?
I don't know. I was just like, whatever. I'll try this out.
Okay.
I was like, what's Cain up to?
Surprised.
Yeah, Cain fights Chasm. Chasm's brain was being altered and manipulated. There's vermins, and eventually, Chasm declares he's still Chasm, and he and Hallows' Eve run off together, and Cain and Chasm have like an understanding. It's just, I was just like, oh, let's see how Cain's doing, and he's fine. There was some. It was a standard run-of-the-mill superhero comic book. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad about it. The Chasm stuff sucks, and I think everyone is aware. Like Steve Fox, you could tell, like, has no respect for any of the Chasm crap, but also like he is Chasm though. Like the book's called Chasm, and so it's but seeing Ben Reilly and Cain interact with each other, it was all very consistent and fun, and it worked. As far as it goes, but it's just whatever. It's very much a whatever book, but it's also over. And so Chasm and Hallows' Eve are like, if you could believe it, at the end of the issue, And the series itself, like Chasm and Hollow's Eve, are not going anywhere. And that's really what the book is saying. Like, but also Kane is still here too. So
he's like, anybody remember me?
Yeah, but no one's gonna give you a book.
And you all wanted to read Spider-Man when his body was being piloted by Doc Ock more than you wanted to read anything about me.
That's right. Yes, I did, and I really enjoyed that book. Yeah,
okay.
And Ryan Stegman was drawing that book for a little while. It was like, what? It's a crazy book. Yeah. What about you?
I only have one more.
Okay, well, I read Batman and Robin year 1, number 2. Mark Waid's Chris Samnee. It's great. I don't want to get into it too much, but it highlights the point that I made actually on back issues where I talked about like the World's Finest series. How I don't think that Mark Waid likes or really can. And Mark Waid's been on the show on this channel, and he's talked about the fact that he doesn't have like a good entry point for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Robin is that entry point. That's why Robin is the third member of the World's Finest series.
Right.
He understands Dick Grayson. He understands Robin. He gets that. He's happy to do that. And that's what this book is. The book is like, there's this beautiful sequence where Batman and Alfred are training with Dick Grayson, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, there's a gun firing at Robin. They're rubber bullets, honest. And so, Dick is using everything around the cave. And he's bouncing off the Joker card. Like he's kicking Joker fish into the barrel of the gun. Like he's doing all this. It's ornate and theatrical and acrobatic. And Batman's like, just take out the gun. Like, what are you doing? And Robin's like, I'm doing it. Like, and Alfred's like, let him do it. And he's like, no, but he's showing off. And I'm like, it was just a great, like,
but he's a child.
Right, but like that's the point of the book. Like Batman and Robin year 1 is about that.
Is Batman being like, what?
Like, but just efficiently stop
Aren't
the
you
target.
just a little adult in a body?
Right. Like, I don't understand the difference. But
That's
also,
I was at your age.
But it's about how like Batman's not wrong in that, like, if you are focusing on being theatrical and silly, you could die.
Oh, sure.
But also Robin's like, but we're dressed like animals and stuff, like we should be having fun. Obviously Robin isn't, he just has the name, but like, we're dressed like this is fun. This is supposed to be fun.
And like honestly, he might also be like, and if you keep him guessing,
like, and I'm the acrobat. Like you trained yourself to be an instrument of destruction. Like you're a weapon. I'm an acrobat.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a difference in how we're going to accomplish the same goal.
Yeah.
No one says this, but that's what the book is really about.
Right.
And it's like, that's wonderful. And how that's going to be really fun. Like that's going to continue to be great for as long as Waid wants to do this series. But beautiful. Also, there's like, the social services shows up, which we've seen before in different.
Okay.
But this is fun to have them go like, yeah, so like, what do you do?
I'm sorry, you have a boy here?
Yeah, like it was on the front page of the Gotham Gazette, like, millionaire industrialist Bruce Wayne adopts orphan child.
So is he in school?
Right, like what's going on? Yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, but it's
my
cool.
butler teaches him.
Right, yeah. And he brings up like Alfred can do all these things. And like, so do you just give him to Alfred and go off doing your thing? And he's like, no, I'm quite good. But they go and like meet Dick, and he's like bouncing off the walls, like doing all kinds of acrobatics. And Batman's like, stop it. But what's funny is like, like what Batman and Bruce needed to understand is like, Bruce is worried you're going to give away that you're Robin, but like, no, he's an acrobat.
Yeah.
Like you should be kind of delighted by it. I really like, I hope Batman gets the message, but also the book exists to be like, oh, maybe he won't. And that's why like he has to leave, but like,
yeah,
it's good. It's real.
He's like, if I don't start working on my glutes now,
right,
I'm not going to have DC's favorite butt.
That's right.
Just
I can't give this up. I don't blame him. But yeah.
I got to bake that cake.
That's right. You got to bake the cake. Ultimate Spider-Man number 11, Jonathan Hickman, David Messina did the art on this one. And just like the previous issue, this cover is a massive lie. Just a total lie. The last 2 issues, they were like, Black Cat, everybody. This one was more aware of what a lie it is, where they went, Black Cat is in the book. And then that was the end of the Black Cat appearance in the book. Like, there is no sequence where these two do anything together. Spider-Man has not met Felicia Hardy Black Cat. This cover is a lie. That said, this book is still fantastic, and I'm loving every moment of it. I should also point out. Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say this issue. I literally went.
What was it? What was the gas moment?
It was the conversation between him and Ben.
Oh yeah.
I was like.
It was a great moment.
I just wasn't expecting it dropped right there. I was like, what?
Yeah. What? It's great. It's great. Pete's supposed to meet with Harry. Harry is obviously dealing with Gwen stuff and, his whole reveal of him being Green Goblin to Jonah and Ben. Pete fights some bad guys. Mr. Negative shows up. Ultimate Mr. Negative, who's literally just Mr. Negative. Like, there's no. And of course, because, and I think it's been confirmed, certainly if you watch tomorrow's episode of All Stars with Joshua Williamson, Josh and I talk about Hickman for like half an hour.
Okay.
But this is the main Marvel universe. The 6160 universe is the Marvel universe. Like, the maker reproduced the whole real Marvel universe, and then Dr. Manhattaned it from Rebirth.
Yep.
He moved the lantern 6 inches to the left, like that, and that's what this universe is. It is the Marvel universe, except when Maker changed things,
right,
and a ripple effect on it. So it's like, it's going to be Mr. Negative because Maker doesn't care about him, but he's also going to be influenced by the video game because the video game sold more copies than comic books have ever sold in the history of humanity. But that's, I love that. I'm like, that's such a great like hook for me in this universe. I'm like, yes, I'm in. That said, the fill-in artist, same as usual. I'm fine.
Well, hang on. They were fighting, and then they goes to have the he goes home where he has a conversation
he has to talk to
with
Mary Jane. Mary Jane
was just handled
beautifully,
like perfectly.
Yep, great
like,
interaction,
very real.
Yeah, great. Yeah, real, grounded. His approach to Hickman's approach to MJ is great.
It's just it's a healthy relationship.
It is. They're yes, it's completely healthy.
It's not perfect.
No, but
it's healthy.
It's not wrong. It's just or twisted or weird or complicated or problematic. It's just like, here's two people who are married to each other
and have been.
Josh had a horrible pitch.
No.
And I was like, what? And I think he's way off base. But he's like, because there's going to be a time jump. The 12 issues has been 12 months.
Yeah.
It's been a year. We're going to do another time jump after this. He's like, I think that Peter will have had an affair with Black Cat.
No.
And I'm like, nope, because that's not what this is. Like, there's no telegraphing of any of that in this book.
Yeah.
Like, it is high drama.
I could see Harry having one.
100%. Yeah, easily. But there's
that like sending Gwen over the edge.
Oh yeah, but like there is
Green Goblin.
Yeah, but there is there will be a shoe that drops.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming the shoe is a death.
Yeah. I don't know whose, but there'll be a shoe, and it's gonna drop, and it's gonna hurt.
If I had to get, no, I don't want to say anything.
That's fair. But yeah, so. It's a great series. It's a great book. Pete and Ben have an interesting conversation, and it's the kind of their interaction is fantastic because, Uncle Ben is a bumper sticker, and Pete has romanticized Uncle Ben the entire time. And I'm just kind of like, this is a world where it's like this is like Uncle Ben lost May. He is not the Uncle Ben of the main universe. Like this uncle, the Uncle Ben who will cure everything with a hug and who like understands Peter intimate. Like this is a guy who's like, no, his best friend is J. Jonah Jameson. This is not the Uncle Ben
I think it is to some degree because it's still like the fact that he is friends with Jonah doesn't actually diminish his character. I think it shows the strength of his character because it righted Jonah.
Yeah, it only makes Jonah better. Like
he strengthens Jonah.
Yeah.
So I think that actually does like confirm that he's like, no, I still am that guy. I'm not like I was with May.
Yeah. No, this is a sad Ben.
Yeah, but not totally. But that reveal that he's like, I know you're Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I was like,
yeah, right.
Of course he is.
I'm actually, I was surprised only because I was like, oh, he didn't tell him. Like I thought he'd already told him.
My brain was like 6. I counted. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I forgot about. Wait, no, Otto doesn't know.
Otto does not know that he's Peter.
Never mind. So it's like
his two kids.
Mary Jane,
Gwen, Harry, and one other person.
Is it Iron Lad?
Oh yeah, it's Iron Lad.
Okay, I wasn't sure if Iron Lad counted because they don't know who that is.
Right. But it's Tony Stark. They're well aware of who that character is. Okay. They don't know that they hang out.
Yeah,
or they've never hung out, but they've met. But yeah, 6. There you go. But yeah, it's a good book. Obviously, it's a high recommend.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
I did like watching like Kingpin have a little meltdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's like good. You should.
Yeah, it's great. That's so funny, that moment where like he's like, well, we lost another one, and then Hardy's like, no, we haven't. Oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, and she's like, this is weird.
She's like, I don't like this. I don't want to wear this.
I don't like this, and I don't like what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and I'm like, fair. If only I knew anything about you. Stop putting you on the cover. But yeah, I love it. So what is your book of the week?
What's yours?
Oh, man. Wow, what an excellent question. Tough, though. How does one gauge one's response?
Buying myself some time.
Right? I mean, yeah, that's interesting because I was very happy with a lot of these books. You know, like I really want to give it to Storm. I think it was a phenomenal issue. You know, Ultimate Spider-Man was great as well. But the joy and fun and depth of Batman and Robin Year 1, Number 2, I really enjoyed a lot. So I'm going to give it to Batman and Robin Year 1.
Wow, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm in a similar issue here because it was like I really enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man regardless of Chichetto not being there.
Yeah.
That did a really great job. The question was a really great opening to a book that I thought I would have no interest in.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm like,
maybe I do.
Maybe I'll check out a couple. Batman Full Moon. I love the fact that it like made me think back on like Bruce as a human being written in that way. I think Barnes is doing a phenomenal job on that series, but obviously it has to go to Power Fantasy 14, number 14.
Yeah.
please
14.
Please let it go that long.
Yeah.
The Power Fantasy number 4, just because that book is a joy and a treat, and yeah, the art, all of it, it's just all cylinders.
Yeah.
All cylinders going.
So let's jump into some super chats for the sponsors for today's show. Langley M. Neely, it's been a minute since, but I wanted to say hi, catch up with old friends, and some new books. I've been watching for 10 years now. That's crazy. It is crazy, man. Thank you. Matt Fisher, the Terminator back was great. Gee, I wonder who wrote it. Wink. Did you know Sue can fade from sight? We need more Bort license plates. Are you talking to me? No, my son is also named Bort, but thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Robert A., any chance of President Luthor on back issues? Seems great, timely now. Lowell, keep up the great work. Much love and gratitude. Thank you. Maybe, yeah, President Luthor makes sense. I haven't. I also have that Luthor book that's like, you know, from the late 80s, early 90s that's modeled after The Art of the Deal.
Oh.
So I'll have to check that out as well. Zoinks says, it's interesting. It seems Brevoort's stance on Spider-Man's marital status, that it's intrinsic to the character as Daredevil's blindness. Yeah, we're all wrong sometimes. Chocobo Kid, Jeff, and the crowd goes wild.
Jeff. Woo! Me.
Chase Wellings, hey guys, any chance we could get a Hellboy back issue similar to the Spawn retrospective episodes? Thanks.
That's an interesting idea.
That is an interesting idea. None of us are huge Hellboy fans, so it's not like I can just, you know, talk about Hellboy for 2.5 hours based on my extensive love of the lore and character. I'd have to start, you know. Absolutely not the Azarello one. We've already done that episode. Bryce Harriet, hi, Silent Tiffany. Thank you for all of your recommendations. You really have made me a much more robust and smarter reader. All hail Nostra Comics. Good pull, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Yeah. And so now we're going to recommend some comics that come out this week that we can check out. Detective Comics 1091, you know, Tom Taylor's Batman, Thomas Wayne. There's Amazing Spider-Man 62. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to see where that goes. Superman 20 is definitely worth checking out. It's such a good book overall. I haven't read that issue, but I've read the previous issues, and it's really fun. It's definitely really cool. Dan Moore's art is, you know, worth the price of admission alone. Justice League Unlimited, number 1, with Mark Waid, and I believe Dan Moore is also coming out. Hooray! Ooh. First issue of Justice League. Ninja Turtles number 4 is dropping. This is the final issue with the rotating artists and the individual focuses. This will be the Donatello issue. Yeah, it's a great series overall. I really love this Turtles direction. Jason Aaron's Turtles. May he get 100 issues. We'll see where it goes. I like it. Batman Long Halloween, the last Halloween, number 3. I like it, but I am like frustrated by the rotating artists. I understand why, you know, but that's where we are. I read Iron Man 1 and I didn't like it, but I'll try Iron Man 2 and see where it goes. You know, from there. Mystique number 2 is dropping. That'll be interesting. I have been promoting this book with Tom King. Black Canary Best, the Best number 1 is dropping. It's a phenomenal issue. Great debut. Nothing like Jenny Sparks or, you know, Wonder Woman for that matter. Like it's very direct, very deliberate. It's more like Superman Up in the Sky meets Mr. Miracle.
Okay.
that's the best recommendation I can make for that book. But it's definitely worth checking out. Really, really well made, and so I dig it quite a bit. And that's it for me for those.
Obviously, I'm going to be picking up Absolute Wonder Woman #2.
I wanted to let you go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to be like, don't.
I'm going to read
it,
but
don't do it. Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman on that book. Freaking that for me is like my top.
Yeah.
Of for Absolute, but that's what I kind of love about Absolute is the fact that between Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman right now, everybody has their top 3 in different order, and that's totally okay in my opinion. Ultimate Black Panther #10. I feel like this is the always forgotten Ultimate book that's coming out, but it's so consistent. It's so good. Brian Hill, Carlos Nito on art. I like this book.
I know you do.
It's
smart.
It's smart. It's thrilling. And obviously it plays a lot more with like, it's nothing like X-Men, Ultimate X-Men whatsoever.
Right. Or any of the other ones. It's not like Spider-Man. It's not like X-Men or Ultimates. It's its own thing.
It's doing its own thing for sure.
That's right.
Flash #15 coming out. Cy Spurrier, Vasco Georgiev on art. Telling you guys, this one is probably more like what you were hoping for the first Flash arc that he wrote.
Yeah, read your Flash.
We got there. We got there for sure. I liked it all the way through. Dazzler #3. I'm probably gonna check that out. Jason Liu, Raphael Loureiro. Sorry, it was loading in.
I know.
I was like, what's happening? Why is it moving?
Yep.
I just wanted to see who's doing this.
Yeah, I have no. Oh my god.
Okay, West Coast Avengers with Jerry Duggan writing it. Art by Danny Kim.
I guess I'll check this out.
I was like, I wonder if that's a Sal book or not.
I don't know.
It turns out it is. I just have to see the cover for this book. I have to know what I'm looking at there.
Right.
Oh my God. Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns #1 is coming out, written by Jeff Parker with art by Lucas Kettner. I guess I'm picking that up.
Santa is back in town.
Silent Night Returns.
Oh no. Batman Santa Claus.
Jeez. That looks like Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I'll bet it's deliberate.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yes, that's a skip.
Anyway, I just wanted to see. I was like, what am I looking at there? I think that's I'm sure there will be other things that I didn't notice in the list right now, but that doesn't mean that I won't be getting them.
It's true.
Oh, wait, what's that?
Oh. Yes. You like this book.
I do. Tin Can Society #3 is dropping, written by Peter Warren with art by Francesco Mobili. I really, really like this book.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't heard a lot of folks talking about it.
No.
But if power fantasy isn't your thing, but you're still looking for like
your fix.
You're fixed, but like maybe not out of the big two. Tin Can Society, murder mystery. Definitely some superheroics in there, but a little more real world as well, without going into some of those ethical questions that power fantasy is touching on. So this may be something more that you're looking for. I like both.
Yeah,
they have two different fixes for me. Mobili's art is fantastic.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Fair. We had a couple other super chats pop in while we were doing our recommendations.
Oh, thank you.
Near Ravel says, "Hey, Sal and Tiffany, I hope you are having a good one. Thoughts on the confirmation that Loeb Lee Batman run will be a follow-up to Hush?" Yes, that's we talked about it when they announced it a while back. But Hattush is coming, and that's going to be like the team on the Batman title after Zdarsky is leaving. I can tell you, or at least I can assume, based on the original run on Hush, like that's a smart move. Like I think it's a great idea to make Hush a sequel. Like if you're gonna do a same team sequel to Hush, because there are sequels to Hush already,
right?
I believe it's called Hush Returns. Like there's literally another sequel that like people like more than Hush. But here's another Hush, which they're calling Hush 2. But Hush was originally like basically a self-contained original graphic novel that was just in the pages of the Batman title. So I think that's a really smart idea to just keep that up again. Although it's so funny because of how different it is. Like there's so much that's different. Like I saw a preview, or maybe it was a bootleg or piracy of the first like couple of pages.
Yeah.
Where I saw like Hush going over the players in the Bat family. And I'm like, yeah, when Hush launched, Jason Todd was still dead. Barbara Gordon was in a wheelchair, all this stuff. And, Gordon was, I think he was not commissioner again. Like they're always like, oh, commissioner, you're Gordon, you're not commissioner right now. But then he becomes commissioner. Like they But yeah,
right.
So yeah, to have like Red Hood be in the Hush sequel, it's gonna be really weird. Batgirl is gonna be in it, like, it's all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. But I wouldn't get attached to them as the regular art team and writing team on the Batman book. I think once Hattush is over, that'll be it.
Right.
And then they'll have to get another team.
It'll be interesting to see Lee on sequentials.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Because I think he could do it.
Yeah.
But
it'll be different.
Yeah. Matt Fisher, are you going to read The Last Days of Lex Luthor? Probably. I don't know. And Hulkzilla.
That's a fair question.
Yeah, I guess. And Hulkzilla, shout out to The Incredible Hulk number 19 by Phil Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein, celebrating Legacy number 800. Guest writers Ben Percy, Greg Pak, and Torrin Gronbeck, also wishing you guys a great week. Thanks, Hulkzilla.
Thank you. I keep forgetting that Nick Klein's on that book, and I love Nick Klein.
Yeah, I don't like
from Drifter
anybody else on that book, but good for Nick Klein. Yeah, I guess that's cool. Good for Hulk.
Yeah.
Nice that Hulk got an anniversary.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And Nick Klein's a good choice.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a good artist.
But yeah. Anyway, you're playing video games on Tuesday, maybe?
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
We're hosting.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's coming up. We're hosting 2 Thanksgivings.
Be on the lookout. We'll let you know.
Yeah, but normally, if you want to watch Tiffany play video games, you can go to youtube.com at ComicPop Plays or twitch.tv/ComicPop. It's simultaneously streamed on both, so you can just follow either way there. If you want to check out back issues, it's on youtube.com/ComicPop. And of course, subscribe to this channel and click the bell for notifications and give us a like. Helps us out. If you're listening to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. It would help us out. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. And that's all for us from today. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys next week with another episode. I'm Sal.
I do not make Danielle do the difficult parts. In fact, I do many of them. I'm Tiffany.
Yes. But so long, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.